Oh, okay. I think I'm live. So let me double check. I ain't been live in so long. There it is. All right. We are live on both YouTube. Okay. I believe we are live on YouTube and Instagram. All right. If you are new to Brittainy Noel, you don't know who I am. Welcome to the tribe. My name is Brittainy Noel, therapist out of Houston, Texas. And I do a little bit of it. There we go. There's the button. All right. So, welcome to my live, you guys. I should be live on both YouTube. There we go. Thank you, Latanya. You know I be struggling with the stuff. I should be live on both YouTube and Instagram. All right. Thank y'all for joining. I haven't been live in so long. And I said, I'm trying to do better. And the truth is that I've been busy. So this is probably the most downtime I've had since middle of last year. So I have been enjoying my downtime. I have been enjoying self-care. I have been enjoying not being on video unless it's for the daily fix. I have been taking full advantage of just being able to lay back in the cut somewhere. All right. So I appreciate y'all for allowing me to kind of take a break from being in front of the camera, enjoy the holidays, enjoy just, being, I was gonna say normal, okay? But believe it or not, I don't like being on camera every day. So when I'm with the Daily Fix, I love it. That's what those are my people, okay? I do it for them. But if it's not the Daily Fix, getting me on Instagram Live or any other platform is hard, all right? But I said I'm gonna commit as we are getting ready to embrace Heart Talks 2025. I said I'm gonna commit to showing up on Instagram more frequently because I know the way the algorithm work, it don't tell everybody when I'm live. It don't tell everybody where I'm going. So I said, cool, we'll go back to our live sessions once a week. All right, I'm gonna try to commit to coming back live on Tuesdays. I'm gonna try to make Tuesday work again, but for sure, once a week. All right, so the Daily Fix. First of all, Daily Fix, sound off in the chat. My TDF family on YouTube and Instagram. Say hey, say hi. The Daily Fix is my morning meetup program. These people join me live or they watch the replays. When you join the Daily Fix, you get to watch over 200 hours of content of me talking. All right. I coach with them every morning. We talk about relationships, communication, attachment styles. We talk about insecurities, identity, purpose, everything. We talk about everything. And so if you want to work with me in any capacity, if you've ever been like, oh, I wish she could be my coach, that's how I'm going to be your coach. That's how I'm going to be your therapist. It's through the Daily Fix. We are a worldwide community. All right. We got Canada, we got Jamaica, we have Kenya, we have people from all over the world in the Daily Fix. And I'm so proud of you. Okay. Okay. Don't get me emotional. All right. If you are new and you don't know who I am Brittainy Noel, mental health therapist here in Houston, Texas. Thank you, Princetta. HeartTalksTour.com to register for Heart Talks. Chicago is coming up quick. We have like 70 something days left until we're in Chicago. And it's coming. That's all I could say. It's coming. ATL is going to be such a fun event. Like ATL, I love all of my events, first of all, and every event is different because you can never anticipate who's going to be in the room. So every Heart Talks event is always a different vibe because the vibe really depends on the group of people who come. The questions come from the group of people who come. So every event is different. But I know Atlanta is going to be fun. Atlanta showed out last year. Okay. Let me focus. Okay. Let me focus. If you want to register for Heart Talks, okay, you can do that by going to hearttalkstour.com. Okay. And you can register, come and join us in the city that's closest to you. Okay. I will tell y'all. All right. The only other city right now, there's two potentials, but there's one for sure. The only other city that will be added to the tour schedule. The only other city right now, okay, is New York. That's it. We are working on logistics for New York, but once we get the new logistics ironed out, we will announce it. All right. Here's the thing. I'm happy I went live tonight because I see y'all in my comments. All right. I see y'all every time I post a video, y'all like, come to Oregon. come to come to Ohio. And I want y'all to hear me on this. Okay. I love y'all. I really, really, really do love y'all. But it is way more of y'all than it is me. Okay. And in full transparency, I have experienced burnout twice in my career. Twice. Legitimate burnout. The first burnout I had, I left direct service and I went administration. And then I went administration, I burnt out there, right? So I am fully aware that I am a person who has a very limited capacity, right? And while I love what I do, I'm being very strategic in how I'm doing Heart Talks, how I'm serving the world, because I want to serve the world in my gifting, but I don't want to do it at my expense. So am I going to go to every city? Absolutely not. Are you going to see Brittainy Noel with a 20 city tour? Absolutely not. Absolutely not, right? Because I have to protect my own mental health and well-being. Now, as my team gets bigger and as my team expands, then yes, I'll have the capacity to do a lot more and go a lot more places. But right now, I'm being very protective of me, right? Because I can't do what I love doing so much that I don't have anything else left to give, right? That's a word for somebody tonight. So and believe me, I understand the sacrifices y'all make to come see me. Do not think I don't see it. Do not think that I don't acknowledge it. It makes me feel like the most loved person in the world when y'all travel to come see me. So if you can travel to see me, I would love for you to be in the room. Okay. And hopefully one day I'm going to be in your neck of the woods. All right. I think I'm going to be in Orlando in March for somebody else's event. So I'll post that. If you're in Orlando, I'm going to be there in March. So you can come to that event. I got to post it so that y'all can see who that is. But yes, so that's my goal for 2025. I want to serve the world. I'm going to do Heart Talks. I've been booked to speak at different events. So I'll be traveling, but I'm always going to protect my own mental health and well-being, because otherwise my friends know I will disappear in a minute. I will disappear when it becomes too much. I will shut it all down. Okay. All right. So now that I've got that out the way, all right, I'm happy to be back doing a live question and answer for you guys. If this is your first time joining a live Q&A with me, welcome. Okay, you were in for a treat. We're going to take a few questions tonight. If you guys are still wondering what the Daily Fix is, okay, the Daily Fix is my morning community. That's not right. I'm just clicking buttons at this point. Okay, I got to update that. But the Daily Fix, everything is in my what's the thing? The bio. Always click the bio. Go to the website. All right. Everything is on there. But yes, Daily Fix, put the URL. This is why I stopped doing the lives. Okay. All right. So let's see. Who has the first question of the night? All right. Who has the first question of the night? You can absolutely bring your husbands. Okay. We have women bring husbands, boyfriends, just no children. We don't do children just because sometimes the questions can get pretty graphic. And so we want to keep it adults only. All right. First question of the night. Let's see. And YouTube, I want you guys to put your questions in the chat as well. All right. Let's see. Do you do virtual sessions? I do. Everything is at BrittaineyNoel.com. How do you let go of a 16-year marriage when he just walked away and left? So if I was married for 16 years and he just got up and left, walk away, it's going to leave you with a lot of unresolved questions. It's going to leave you with a lot of unfinishedness, right? I don't really get closure in that. And the truth is that he may or may not know why he walked away. He may not be able to articulate why he walked away. I think that for you, you have to make a decision within yourself. How do I want to respond, not react? The reaction could be very emotional. The reaction could be a blow up. The reaction could be, waiting to exhale and burn everything up. That's an emotional reaction. But your response has to be, one, if this has been my partner for 16 years, was I aware um, of any of the conversations that we've had? Has he brought up or said anything that would have let me know that things were not okay? Right. And it's going to be a lot of processing on your end to figure out, how do I want to respond to this? And that answer is different for a lot of people. Some people say, I'm done, I'm walking away, I'm moving on. And other people are like, no, I don't want to move on. That's a decision that nobody can make for you. I don't care. I don't care how bad you think the transgression is, right? Because you'll have people who say, "Well, he left, he walked out, move on with your life." That's not always the case, right? And I'm saying this from as a therapist. There is so much that goes on in a marriage that the outside world never sees. That it's only you and your partner that knows the truth about what's been going on in this marriage. So before you decide, I just want to leave it, throw it all away, take a real inventory of yourself, of how you showed up in that marriage, how he showed up in that marriage, and ask myself, for the marriage that I have, what is the equity in this marriage, right? Because every marriage is not a good marriage, and every marriage is not a marriage worth saving. So what is the equity? Think of equity like a house, right? If I was living in a broke down shack and a tornado came through and took the roof off, is it really worth me getting a new roof, or do I just need to demo the whole house? Right? So when damage has been done, we want to take inventory and ask myself, what is the condition of the thing that I am in, or trying to save, or wanting to save, or even wanting to throw it away, right? So I would tell you to from a non-emotional standpoint, right? Because of course you feel betrayed, you feel abandoned, you feel anger, you feel hurt. Outside of those emotions, can I take a true inventory of what this relationship was? Take marriage off the table, because I think people use the word marriage, and marriage adds so much more weight to it. But if we're married and we operate like boyfriend and girlfriend, then the marriage don't really mean much. If we're oh, if we're married and we operate like roommates, the marriage don't mean much. So the fact that we're married, really, it's great. It's a great thing to have. It's an institution that some people respect. But you have to take inventory. What is the equity that I have in this relationship from the beginning? And that is an honest decision that you have to make with yourself. Okay. And don't let the outside world weigh into that decision. Don't let the outside world give you advice on what they would do. Girl, I would do this. It don't matter. I'm telling you, in a marriage, only the two people that are in that marriage truly know what's going on in that marriage. So don't allow other people to weigh in on your decision making. So I would tell you to take some time to isolate, go to therapy, but get your own thoughts together about what that relationship is or was for you. All right, very good. Next question. Let's see. What advice do you have for self-confidence that has been destroyed by men who didn't respect you? Um, Self-confidence is not destroyed by men who don't respect you. Self-confidence is not destroyed by men who don't respect you. The men who don't respect you validated a part of yourself that believed I wasn't worthy of that respect from the beginning. So when someone treats me poorly and I stay, when someone treats me poorly and I don't correct them, when someone treats me poorly and I don't advocate for myself, when someone treats me poorly and I don't stand up for myself, when someone treats me poorly and I still give them access, when someone treats me poorly and I keep going back into that relationship, or I make excuses for them treating me poorly was only able to happen because there was a piece of myself that was willing to sacrifice my own self-respect in order to have the relationship. So I was willing to sacrifice my self-respect so that I could have the relationship. So how do you fix that? You fix that by learning to respect yourself. Is this a relationship that I would entertain if I respected me? Is this a situation that I would allow myself to be in if I respected me? In fact, if I respected me, would I listen to that voice that told me from the beginning that this was not a good fit for you? If I respected me, would I have listened to the voice that told me this person is not a good person, or they're disrespectful, or they don't really like me like that? Right? So while we focus on what the other person did, they hurt me, they said this, they said that. I get it. The other person did some damaging things, but the things that they did only validated what a piece of me already believed. Because if I believed that I deserved respect, then when you disrespect me, everything in my body would just compulse, would just, you can't talk to me a certain kind of, listen, people, you can't, right? Because one, and this is why I say, there's a certain way people have to address me, because I don't even talk to myself in that manner. You have to address me a certain way because I don't even talk to myself in that tone. I don't curse myself in my own self language, so you're not going to curse me. When I spend time with myself, I invest in me. I take me out. I buy myself stuff. I buy myself flowers. I take myself on good dates. So no, when you come into my life, you can't offer me anything less than what I'm already offering me, because I respect myself to a certain degree. When other people come into my life and offer me less, it just discombobulates. First of all, I'd be confused. I'd be like, really? 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 Right? Because to me, my self-worth and my self-value is so apparent, I don't know how you missed it. But I'm also clear that if someone doesn't see my worth and my value, it's not a reflection of who I am, it's a reflection of their sight. So a person outside of me is not the one that makes me feel less than. What they can be disrespectful, they can be hurtful, they can be, the things that they say or do, can affect me in a certain way. But if I walk out of that interaction and I now think less of myself because of it, it wasn't that person who did that. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? Okay. So self-respect and self-confidence is about self. How do I treat myself? How do I honor myself? How do I protect myself from people who don't see my value and my worth? Okay. Who has the next question? And for my guys in the chat, I always want a question from the guys every night. People always ask if I only work with women. I work with men as well. I love working with guys. I worked only with men for 4.5 years, treating PTSD. So I love working with men just as much as I love working with my women. Okay. When healing from childhood trauma and dealing with hurt from my mom, how do I continue to heal fully and put my relationship with her on hold or pause while I get to where I need to be? Boundaries. Boundaries, right? So first of all, you have to acknowledge that if I'm still healing from this relationship and she is not a healthy person or a safe person to be around, then that means that I have to be very mindful of how much access I'm giving her. So while we may be able to talk on the phone about, I don't know, the Real Housewives, we're not going to actually talk about my personal life, or we're not going to talk about who I'm dating or finances, right? So while she may have access to certain parts of my life, she doesn't have access to the deeper parts of my life, because we get hurt when we give people more access than what they are capable of being responsible for, right? So the way in which you don't, depending on the nature of the relationship, you don't always have to just cut them off completely, but you can monitor how much access I'm giving you, because how much access I give you determines whether or not you can hurt me. So we can have a very surface level cordial relationship, but our relationship can't go deeper because, one, I'm still healing from things that have happened in the past, and two, you may not be a safe place for me, right? So one, you have to determine what level of access do I want to give her, and that is determined by your need, right? So if I'm in a place where the wounds that I have from my mother, I'm still bleeding from, that's not going to be a relationship that I can talk to that person every day, right? Because I'm still bleeding over here, and you want to laugh and kiki, and I'm not okay with that, right? So you have to determine the level of access that you want to give her so that you can go on your healing journey. And then once you've determined the level of access, a conversation may or may not need to be had. All right. This is where y'all got to join the Daily Fix. I did a whole series on, being raised by immature parents, right? Immature and dysfunctional parents. So how do I manage when I have family members, parental figures who are still unhealthy, right? I want, you're a grown adult, but they still talk to you like a child. They still treat you disrespectfully. They cross all your boundaries. How do you deal with that? So a part of your healing journey is learning, how do I navigate these people who are still unhealthy, even though I'm trying to become healthy? That's going to be a large part of your healing journey. Make sense? Okay. Jessica on YouTube says, how do you start loving yourself after so much hurt? If you haven't read my book, Made for This, start there. If you haven't read my book, Made for This, start there. The hard part about learning to love myself, before you love yourself, you will accept yourself. Okay? Before you learn to love yourself, you have to learn to accept yourself, because I cannot love parts of me that I do not accept. And that means that in learning to love myself, I have to accept the parts of myself that got me in situations or relationships that caused me the pain that I was in, right? And even if it didn't get me there, I stayed. Right? I didn't know to put up boundaries. I didn't know how to put up boundaries, or I thought putting other people in front of me was the thing that had to happen. Right. So a part of being able to love myself is learning, how do I accept the parts of myself that were a part of the situations of which I got hurt? How do I learn to love the parts of myself that will never recover from what happened? How do I learn to love the parts of myself that will never recover after the trauma? How do I learn to love the parts of myself that will always have a scar? Self-love is not perfection. Self-love is not loving myself when I have reached a certain level of healing. Self-love is not loving myself when I get everything right. Self-love is not loving myself when I've learned how to grow past what I went through. No, self-love happens when I can look at the mess that I was in. I can look at the scars that I have. I can look at the wounds that I still have and say, even though you're wounded, I still love you. Even though you still freak out every now and again, I still love you. You have nightmares every other night, and I love you through it. You're skeptical of the world, and I still love you. You're still paranoid of who could hurt you, and I still love you. So self-love doesn't happen because I became this healed version of myself and I went on the retreats and I read the books. Self-love happens when I can look at the messy version of me and say, even though you were still a mess in these areas, you were still worthy of love. That's when that's when self-love enters the chat. In my book, there's a chapter. The book is called Made for This. It's on Amazon. Thank y'all. Thank y'all so much. I love my tribe. Thank y'all. There's a chapter in the book called The Mirror of Ugly Truths, right? And in that chapter, I describe the time that I had to stand in my own mirror and face myself and take responsibility for everything in my life, right? From the relationship I was in, to the ways in which I tried to save my family, from the ways in which I tried to earn my way into people's hearts and into people's lives, the ways in which I tried to work away the anger and the shame and the hurt. I had to stand in that mirror and take full accountability for everything that I did that participated in where I was. And it wasn't until I was able to accept that all of those parts were still Brittainy. Even the parts that I was ashamed of or embarrassed of, those were still me. Even the parts that I felt stupid for, or I felt ridiculous for, or I felt like a failure for, I could not disown those parts because those parts were still parts of me. And to disown them would mean that I did not approve of myself. And you can't get to self-love without self-acceptance. So even though there were messy pieces of me, even though there were messy parts of me and broken parts of me, confused parts of me, they were all still me. So in order for me to get to a place where I could say, I love you, I had to acknowledge that those parts existed, give them space to expand so that I could look at them for what they were and understand why they were present. I can understand why you felt that you had to take care of these people. I can understand why you pushed past your boundaries. I can understand why you sacrificed your own well-being for the love that you had for. I understand you now. So now that I understand you, I can stop judging you. Now that I understand you, talking to myself, I can stop judging you as good or bad. Because even though you made the decision that wasn't in your best interest, I understand why you made the decision now. I get what you were trying to make happen. I get how you were trying to control your future. I get how you were trying to manipulate situations so that you would feel safe again. I understand you now. And now that I understand you, I'm not judging you. That's the path to self-love. And it's a journey. It's not a light switch. It don't happen in 60 days. It don't happen in a year. It happens over time, right? So get the book. start there. Get the book. Start there. All right, and allow yourself the grace to grow past your pain. Okay. Very good. Okay, I see some questions on YouTube. Okay. How can I go on about my life without breaking no contact? Because every time I reach out, I look like a fool without a response. What can I do to not reach out ever again? Tell yourself the truth. Tell yourself the truth. In your phone, whatever their name is, save their name as the reason why you left or the reason why it didn't work out, right? So if his name is Tim, okay, I want you to change his name in your phone. His name is no longer Tim, okay? His name is now Mr. Inconsistent. His name is now emotionally unavailable. His name is now the man who did not return my love. His name is now the man who disrespected me. So that way, when you pick up your phone to call him, it'll say on your phone who you're calling. Oh, so you're calling the one who didn't respect you? You're calling the one who don't actually like you? You're calling the one who didn't value you? That's who you're calling? That's who you're texting? You what most people, when we break no contact, we're not breaking no contact because we want the person. We're not breaking the no contact because we want the person. What we miss is the routine of having them in our lives. I miss having someone to call. I miss having someone to text. I miss the good morning text message. I miss having somebody's attention. So it's not even them that I want, but I'm craving the routine of the attention of having someone validate me and make me feel loved and make me feel seen. So in this season of no contact, I have just myself and my feelings and my emotions and my thoughts. And it's so uncomfortable that I would rather go back to where I was. I would rather just go back to who I was, right? So in order for us to stay consistent and no contact, You need to have a mantra. What is it that you are going to remind yourself of? Because most times when we're thinking about them, we're fantasizing. We're romanticizing all of the good places. Oh, the way they smiled at me, the way they looked at me, and we romanticize it, and we pick and choose which memories we want to highlight, and then we minimize the ones that we don't want to highlight. So we've curated this fantasy of who they were. So in order for you to stay committed to the no contact, you have to be in radical honesty with yourself. This was someone who didn't have the capacity, and I don't know if this is the thing, but it's an example. This is someone that didn't have the capacity to love me in the way I wanted to be loved. He's not even a bad person. Now that takes a lot of maturity. Okay. It takes a lot of maturity. He's not a bad person. He's a good guy for somebody else, because the way that he wanted to love me, or the love that he was offering me, was never going to be enough for what it was I was looking for, and vice versa. Right. So if we tell ourselves the honest truth about who they were, and learn how to cope with the emotions that we feel, right? Because it's a lot of it is emotional control. If you have control over your emotions, and you have coping skills for your emotions, and you have systems for your emotions, then you'll be able to get through that no contact. If you can go a good 3 to 6 months complete no contact with healthy coping skills, not unhealthy. So if you're drinking, smoking, getting high, checking out on Netflix, if you're altering your reality or numbing yourself for 6 months, then month 7, you're just going to break no contact. But if you're actually doing healthy coping skills that allow you to tolerate your emotions, allow you to tolerate how you feel, you learn how to self-soothe, you learn how to talk to yourself through those emotional highs and lows, month 7 will come and you won't think about them. If you do, it'll be because you saw something or you heard something, but they won't be a regular occurrence in your life. And you won't feel that heaviness or that anxiety to reach out or do something by the time you get to month 7. But if you can participate in healthy coping skills for 6 months, a minimum of 6 months, the emotional disconnect will begin. The issue is that most people, when they go no contact, they're not managing emotions, and they're not participating in healthy coping skills. So the cycle is it's like in limbo. It's like, I'm still here. I'm still here because all you're doing is avoiding me. You're not dealing with me. You're just avoiding me. Right. So it's only a matter of time before you go right back to the cycle, because you never actually learned how to cope without this person in my life. Every time I'm keeping busy or going to the gym, I think about my ex, and it's been 6 months still. It's not a crime to think about your ex. I would encourage you to replace thoughts of your ex with thoughts of your next, right? Because one of the ways in which we hinder ourselves from moving on is we hype up what we had with our exes. Oh, I'll never find another love like that. I'll never love again. I'll never be able to open my heart again. It's getting excited about who is next in line to love me. Who am I so ready to love on? What is the next love experience? I am excited about the 2025 love experience I'm about to have. We give so much weight to our past that we never stop and consider what's waiting for me in my future. And that's how we got stuck. We romanticize the ex, and the way they smiled, and the way they, okay, well, there's somebody in 2025 who wants to smile at you too. And the smile is probably better. Okay. And so with every love experience, the goal is to have the experience, and every love experience is supposed to teach you about yourself, right? Every love experience, whether, you dated this person for 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, however long, what did this love experience teach me about me? What did I learn about how I want to be loved, how I want to be acknowledged, how I want to be nurtured, how I want to be cared for? What did I learn about my capacity? Did I realize in this last dating experience that my capacity is limited? Did I realize in this last dating experience that they were asking for something that I was unable to give, because people come out of love experiences and they only focus on what the other person wasn't able to be for them. Right? That's the first thing. They were this, they weren't emotionally available. They didn't do this, they didn't do that. And we focus on the failures of the other person, missing where I could have shown up differently, more loving, more caring, more nurturing. I could have chosen my words better. I could have been a better communicator about what I needed. I could have been more honest about what I needed instead of sugarcoating it or downplaying it so that I didn't make them uncomfortable or so that I wasn't a burden on them. I could have been more forthcoming about the way in which I wanted to be loved or I needed to be loved. Right? So every love experience teaches you where you need to upgrade within yourself to be ready for whatever type of end goal you're looking for. So it's not always about what they were. But from your last love experience, you should take the lessons, apply what you learned, and then say, I'm going to take all this new stuff that I just learned and go give it to somebody else. And go give it to somebody that can reciprocate. Go give it to somebody who's excited about me. Go give it to somebody who can't wait to see me walk through the door. I'm so excited. I got this last experience taught me so much about what it means to be in a healthy relationship. I am taking it all to this next experience. Make sense? She said, it's hard to be that way when they treat you mean. When people treat you mean, you don't honor them with your presence. You got one time. Listen, you got one time. And when I tell you one time, it's somebody at my gym right now who when I walk in the room, he puts his head down and looks at the floor because he was disrespectful to me one time, once. And I didn't honor him with who you talking to, what you know. I was like, oh, okay. And from that day forward, that day afterwards, you can't engage me in a conversation. If I'm in the room, I don't see you, sir. Gym equipment, you will get this bench press when I move. I don't honor you with my presence. I don't honor you with conversation. I don't honor you with acknowledging that you exist. This is where I'm gonna get on my soapbox. She said, "You want me to quit my job to say that?" This is where we have to be. This is where we have to take accountability, right? I think of it as, especially with how I engage with myself. I'm very protective of me, right? Meaning how I nurture myself, how I talk to myself, how I treat myself. I'm very protective of me. So when I'm in the space of people who don't feel the need to be protective or to be nurturing, or they feel like they can handle me carelessly, I don't give you opportunities to keep proving to me that you are capable of handling me in a certain way. I don't give you multiple opportunities. Here's the truth, right? For all my big-hearted people. Maybe he was having a bad day. That's possible. Maybe something happened to him earlier that's possible. Maybe something else. It could be 1,000 maybes that could have happened that would have affected him in a way that allowed him to treat me that way. Right? 1,000 different things that could have happened to him that would allow him to treat me that way. But what I want you to get is that none of those 1,000 reasons matter. None of those 1,000 reasons matter. Because even on my worst day, my character says, Brittainy, even on your worst day, you're not allowed to tear other people down, to talk bad to other people, to treat other people a certain way. That's not who you are. Even on your worst day, you're not allowed to cause harm to other people, especially people who ain't did nothing to you. So Holding you accountable has a lot more to do with who I am than who you are. The ways in which we repeatedly get hurt by people is that we are so great at making excuses for their behavior. So great. Well, they weren't raised by their mama and daddy. They had a lot of trauma growing up. They went through a lot in their last relationship. They're learning how to love. Okay. I have compassion for people who are growing even in the midst of a relationship. I have compassion for people who are growing and healing. And you're allowed to feel how you feel and go through what you go through, but you're not allowed to take it out on me. You're allowed to have a bad day. You're allowed to be struggling. You're allowed to be going through a lot. You are not allowed to use me as your punching bag. That's where we draw the line. So it doesn't matter what the thousands of reasons are that they could have gotten to that place. Those things don't matter. What does matter is whether or not they thought that you were someone that they could take it out on. Make sense? And you do not honor disrespect with your presence. I'm going to keep saying that's a 2025 saying for somebody. I don't honor your lack of consistency with my presence. I don't honor your inability to reciprocate with my presence. I don't honor your inability to communicate, to prioritize, to show up in this connection with my presence. I don't give you access to me when you have not honored the fact that you have access to me. Okay? 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 All right. Next question. Let's see where we at. Next question. Somebody give me a guy. Does a guy have a question on Instagram? Let's see if I can see a guy's question. Okay, let's see. How do I deal with breadcrumbing? You don't. You don't. You don't. Right? Nobody can breadcrumb you if you're not eating the breadcrumbs. Right? When they call every now and again, when they text every now and again, why are you still responding? Right? And if you're being honest, the truth is the reason why I respond is because there's an emotional void that I'm trying to fill. And if I can get this little bit of attention, it feels good. When I participate in breadcrumbing, it's not the person. It's not the person that I'm trying to get. Most times it's the emotional validation of someone cares, someone wants me. Oh, he's here. She's available now, right? You the way you deal with breadcrumbing is to not accept the breadcrumbs, right? You set boundaries. Hey, today's dating world, they want to talk on the phone 11,000 times. Sir, this is our third phone call. Is there a date in the future? Can we set up something? And this is the proper way to communicate it. Let's say Tony. Tony, I really enjoy getting to know you. This has been a great experience. I love talking to you. I love our conversations on the phone. And I want to get to know more of you. I'm looking forward to see where this can go. I'm feeling conflicted because I really value in-person communication. I value one-on-one time and quality time with the people that I admire or adore. And you're one of those people. I want to know, can we set up a date night? in the next week? So you have to be time specific. Can we set up a date night in the next week so I can spend some time with you one on one? Right. So we don't make demands, right? We're not telling people how we want to be loved. We are offering people the opportunity to enter into the type of love experience I would like to have. I'm not here to teach you how to date. I'm not here to teach you how to court. I can offer you an experience and say, hey, this is the type of way that I like to be courted, that I like to be dated. And if you would like to participate in that experience, I'm open. But if phone calls is all you have to offer, unfortunately, that's not going to be enough to fill the type of capacity that I'm looking for. If text messages and good mornings is all you can offer, I appreciate the effort, but at this time, that's not the type of love experience I'm looking for. Okay? We're not teaching people how to court and date. You don't teach people how to enter your life. Okay? I always say when someone is entering my life, whether it's in friendship, business, dating, whatever. When people come into your life, you shouldn't have to fight for a space to be there. If you say that you are dating because you're looking for a partner or you're looking for whatever it is you're looking for, if we agree that we're looking for the same thing, I shouldn't have to fight to be in your life. So if you say I'm trying to date, I want to find my partner, cool. Then why do I have to hound you for a date night? This is what you said you wanted. So if what you said you wanted is in alignment with what I'm looking for, like I can't. So we don't dictate to people, you need to take me here. We need to do this. No, this is the type of experience I'm looking for. And if that is an experience that you are willing to participate in, cool. We can work together on that. But if that's not the type of experience that you're looking for, then I'm not the one for you. And that's okay. Okay. All right. Next question. Again, if you guys want to be a part of the Daily Fix, I thought I had the Daily Fix already in here. Um, Let me see if I can edit it real quick. Oh, there we go. I thought I did. Yeah, thedailyfix.co. Every morning we are live in the Daily Fix. When you join, you get over 200 hours of content. So if you're trying to learn boundaries, if you're trying to learn self-respect, if you're trying to learn confidence, if you're trying to learn how to deal with difficult people, if you're trying to learn how to communicate better, I don't even know who I am. Okay, that's what the Daily Fix is for. All right. If you're trying to figure out who you are in this season, I always say my content is designed to help people survive difficult life transitions. So, whatever transition in life you are in right now, and whether you're a man or woman, the content is for you. Okay. We join live at 8:30 Central Standard Time. And if you can't join live, because people be listening, they be at work with me in their ears, just listening. I'll be on the Zoom calls watching them type away. Okay. But if you can't join live, you can watch the replays. And again, you get access. Oh, and you get access to all the Heart Talks, the full Heart Talks videos. So if you want to watch all of the Heart Talks, like the full Heart Talks segments, then join the Daily Fix because that's where they are. All right. So yeah. Our previously recorded lives, you get both. You get the previously recorded lives and you get the actual lives that we do every day. So the previously recorded lives are all in the Daily Fix. Go to thedailyfix.co to sign up. Okay, let's take another question. Let me look at YouTube. Just lost my mom and I'm feeling lost. For those who didn't do the simple gesture, call, text, or show up, people have disappointed me. Listen, it's always in, um, It's always in the seasons of our need is where we find out who are the people we can actually count on, right? And it's unfortunate, but as the Daily Fix, I taught the Daily Fix this week, and one of the first things I told them on, was it yesterday's call? Everybody is not your friend. I know we think they are. I know we would love for them to be. But some of the people that we refer to as friend, sis, bro, my mommy's tell me all the time, those people ain't your friends, right? And so it's in our time of loss, it's in our time of need that we figure out who are the people who are actually for me. Cling to the people who were present, who are there, who did show up, and release the people who did not, right? And release doesn't mean that I'm like, deuces, never talking to you again. But release means I'm aware that you are not someone I can lean on when time is tough. I'm aware, right? And now that I'm aware, I adjust my boundaries. I adjust how I show up with you. I adjust my expectations, right? Okay. So Instagram, I'm going to take one last question from you guys. Thank you, Brenda. All of my Daily Fix tribe helping me out with these links. Okay. Thank you, Kelly. One last question. Okay. How do you forgive yourself? So that goes a little bit into what I said earlier about self-confidence and the relationship with self, right? Self-forgiveness begins when you stop judging yourself for what you did or didn't do, right? I have to stop judging myself as good or bad and start trying to understand what I did and why I did it. Most times when when we struggle to forgive ourselves, it's because we have made a decision that I was wrong, I was bad, I was stupid, I was dumb for doing X, Y, and Z, or for allowing X, Y, and Z. And why didn't I know better? And why didn't I do better? And why didn't I do this, that, and the other? And then we have all the shoulds, right? You should have did this, you should have did that, you should have did, and now we're just beating ourselves up over and over, right? For the thing that we wish we could forget we were a part of. So until you start trying to stop judging yourself as bad or wrong, take judgment off the table and say why, right? What was I lacking that allowed me to get in that situation? What was I missing? What was I trying to make happen? What was I hoping would have been the outcome? When you start asking yourself questions so that you understand instead of so that you judge, you start to understand why and what mindset you were in when you did it. Because most of our bad decisions that we're ashamed of, they happen when we're emotional most times. Now, we may not acknowledge that we're emotional, or we may not understand how emotion is playing a part in the cycle. But most of your bad decisions, we dishonor ourselves the most when we are the most emotionally dysregulated. So I was emotionally dysregulated and I had this emotional void and I got overwhelmed with how I felt, or I felt void and I felt numb. And so because there was too much emotion or not enough emotion, I now made this decision that dishonored me. And I'm ashamed and I'm embarrassed and I'm mad, right? So if I can understand, well, what led to the emotional dysregulation? What was I missing? What did I have too much going on? What were the factors that played in to me being in this place where I was too dysregulated to protect myself? Too dysregulated to protect myself from myself, right? That's where you find self-forgiveness, is when I start trying to understand myself so that I can stop judging myself, right? So once I have a better understanding of me, self-forgiveness usually comes a lot easier, right? Because I understand that I made the decision out of lack a lot of times. And many times you made the decision because shoot, with no other decisions on the table, honestly. If I'm starving emotionally and there's only one place for me to get this need met right now, immediate gratification, you're right. I went back to that relationship. You're right. I dishonored myself for them. You're right. I disregarded all of my boundaries for them because I was starving emotionally and didn't have any other coping skills to deal with it. So I ate what was available, right? So, was that a good live, you guys? I'm happy to be back. When I said at the beginning of this call, I'm going to try to make sure that I'm coming back at least once a week, okay? Um, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to put y'all on my calendar. But yes, I'm going to try to come back once a week. Heart Talk Chicago is right around the corner, right? Right around the corner. Right around the corner. After Chicago, we're going to be in Houston. Chicago, Houston. What's after Houston? Chicago, Houston, Atlanta, Chicago, Houston, Atlanta, LA, Miami, and we will add New York. I just give me a moment. Just give me a moment to work on New York. DC ain't been loving on me. We were going round and round trying to find a venue in DC or in that area. So if you guys know a venue, email me. Okay. Yes, June 21st is LA. Absolutely. Miami is August 9th. Yes, Miami is August 9th. Um, so yes, I hope that you guys can join me wherever I am. Okay. I'll be in Orlando in March as well for a different event. So just pay attention to my Instagram and I'll post when I'm going to be in Orlando. But yeah, I can't wait to see all of you guys in person. Okay. Um, I can't wait. I can't wait. All right. So I'll let you guys go. Make sure that if you want to join the Daily Fix so that you can be in my tribe and see me every day, then join the Daily Fix. Okay. And if you want to go join the Heart Talks tour, hearttalkstour.com. All right. All things Brittainy Noel, you can go to brittanynoel.com. But I have enjoyed you guys tonight. I want y'all to have an amazing night. Join me back here next week, Tuesday. I'm going to commit right now. All right, Brenda, you're on the call. Tuesday nights at 8:00 will be dedicated to Instagram and YouTube Live. Okay, I'm making that commitment. Brenda is my accountability partner. I'm gonna do it. Okay. The issue is I get sleepy really, really early, like 8:00 at night, because I work out at 5 a.m. So by 6, 7:00, my battery starts, shutting down. So 8:00, my body's like bedtime. What are we doing? It's bedtime. So I'm gonna come back and start meeting with y'all at least once a week. All right. Hey, Miss Sherika. 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. I'm Central. Okay. All right. Y'all have a wonderful night. And I will see the Daily Fix people. I'm going to see y'all in the morning. Everybody else, I'll see y'all next week. I'll see y'all at the next Heart Talks event. Y'all have a good night.